The vast emptiness of space stretched endlessly, a dark canvas punctuated by distant starlight. The Xylarian research vessel, Celestial Horizon, maintained a steady orbit around the unremarkable blue planet called Earth. Inside the ship's observation deck, Captain Kira Park studied the planetary data with a mixture of boredom and professional detachment. Her fingers danced across holographic displays, scanning routine information about the small world below. Earth appeared primitive by galactic standards, a single species just beginning to understand basic space technology. Preliminary reports suggested humans were decades away from meaningful interstellar communication, perhaps even centuries from becoming a noteworthy civilization. Junior Science Officer Wu Jin leaned closer to the holographic projection. "Another standard pre-contact assessment?" he asked, his voice carrying a hint of curiosity. Kira nodded. "Exactly. Just another routine planetary survey. These humans seem particularly unremarkable." Little did they know how profoundly wrong that assessment would prove to be. Unbeknownst to the Xylarian crew, deep within a secure research facility in California, a team of human scientists was already detecting the alien ship's electromagnetic signatures. Dr. David Kim, a brilliant physicist with an unconventional approach to technology, noticed something unusual in the data streams. "Something's different," he muttered, adjusting his glasses and zooming into complex wave patterns. His team gathered around, watching as strange energy signatures danced across multiple monitoring screens. The Xylarian ship continued its silent observation, completely unaware that its advanced cloaking systems were already being analyzed by human technology far more sophisticated than they believed possible. Inside the ship's central command, complex algorithms processed planetary data. Standard protocol dictated minimal interaction with developing civilizations. The humans would be categorized, filed, and essentially ignored, just another emerging species in the vast galactic database. But humans had always been exceptional at defying expectations. Dr. Kim's research team began decoding the alien ship's communication frequencies with unprecedented speed. What should have taken years of careful study was being unraveled in mere weeks. Each layer of alien technology they discovered became another puzzle to be solved, another challenge to be overcome. The Xylarian crew maintained their standard observational protocols. Routine scans continued. Planetary atmospheric composition, technological development levels, potential resource assessments, all standard metrics for a preliminary evaluation. Yet beneath the calm surface of both the alien ship and human research facilities, something extraordinary was brewing. The first subtle threads of a connection that would ultimately reshape galactic understanding were being woven. Kira Park reviewed the initial planetary report. Population, approximately 8 billion. Technology, primitive fusion experiments. Space exploration, limited to local solar system. Potential for advanced civilization, minimal. Her fingers tapped a final confirmation, preparing to file the standard non-interference report that would recommend minimal engagement with the human species. She had no idea how wrong those recommendations would soon become. In that moment of administrative routine, neither the Xylarians nor the humans realized they stood on the precipice of a remarkable encounter. The universe, with its infinite capacity for surprise, was about to demonstrate that appearances could be monumentally deceiving. The blue planet continued its slow rotation, beautiful and seemingly insignificant. Clouds drifted across continents. Oceans reflected starlight. And somewhere between the silent alien observation and human curiosity, an extraordinary story was about to unfold. Just another day in the vast, unpredictable theater of cosmic evolution. Celestial Horizon maintained its position, its advanced sensors quietly collecting data, unblinking, unaware, waiting, and humanity, as always, was about to surprise everyone. The research facility buzzed with an electric energy that felt different from ordinary scientific excitement. Dr. David Kim stood before a complex array of computer screens, his eyes reflecting lines of alien code that seemed to dance and shift with unexpected complexity. When the first transmission protocols from the Xylarian ship were accidentally intercepted, most scientists expected a challenging decryption process. Instead, something remarkable happened. Within hours, not weeks or months, the human team began understanding the intricate communication systems. Jae-won, a young software engineer, noticed something extraordinary. The alien technological blueprints weren't just being decoded, they were being subtly enhanced. Where the Xylarian systems had complex but rigid structures, human adaptations introduced flexibility and innovative problem-solving approaches. "This doesn't make sense," Jae-won muttered, watching algorithms reshape themselves. Traditional scientific understanding suggested such rapid technological integration was impossible. Yet here it was, happening in real time. The Xylarian communication network, designed with millennia of sophisticated engineering, found itself being rewritten by human hands. Each line of code became a playground of potential, each transmission protocol a challenge to be reimagined. In the central monitoring room, technicians watched in silent amazement. Computer screens flickered with streams of data that seemed to breathe and evolve. The alien technology was no longer alien, it was becoming something entirely new. Back on the celestial horizon, initial data streams from Earth began raising unexpected questions. Monitoring systems detected rapid technological modifications that defied their comprehensive databases. Something was happening that their extensive galactic research had never predicted. Captain Kira Park reviewed the incoming reports with growing confusion. Transmission logs showed computational modifications that should have been impossible for a species considered technologically primitive. The human approach to technology seemed to challenge every established scientific understanding. "This is not possible," she told her senior research officer. But the data was undeniable. Across different research centers, human teams were not just learning alien technology, they were reimagining it. Communication protocols that took Xylarian engineers generations to develop were being comprehended and transformed in weeks. The flexibility of human thinking became their greatest asset. Where Xylarian technology followed strict, predetermined pathways, human adaptations introduced creative solutions that seemed to break fundamental technological rules. Quantum computational models, which had taken the Xylarian civilization centuries to develop, were being deconstructed and rebuilt with surprising efficiency. Each alien technological concept became a new opportunity for human innovation. In research labs around the world, scientists worked with an intensity that felt almost like a collective mission. They weren't just studying alien technology, they were engaging in a complex global conversation with an unknown civilization. The Xylarian monitoring systems continued collecting data, their advanced algorithms struggling to categorize and understand the rapid human technological evolution. What they saw defied their most sophisticated predictive models. Jae-won looked up from her terminal, a slight smile crossing her face. "We're not just learning," she whispered to herself. "We're transforming." Each decoded transmission brought new insights. Each technological barrier became an invitation to explore, to challenge, to reimagine what was possible. The humans were doing more than understanding alien technology. They were demonstrating a unique capacity for rapid, creative adaptation. The celestial horizon continued its silent observation, unaware that the seemingly primitive species below was already reshaping the very technological foundations that the Xylarian civilization had considered absolute and unchangeable. In laboratories, research centers, and quiet computer rooms across Earth, humans were writing a new chapter of technological evolution, a chapter that would soon challenge everything the galactic community believed they understood about technological development. The universe watched, silent and waiting, and humanity, with its remarkable capacity for innovation, continued to surprise. Dr. Kim Jae-won's laboratory looked like any other modern research facility, with gleaming surfaces and rows of advanced equipment. But today something extraordinary was about to be discovered. Genetic samples from different human populations lay spread across specialized scanning platforms. What began as a routine genetic research project was about to uncover something that would change everything humanity understood about its own biological potential. The first indication came unexpectedly. A genetic marker previously considered dormant suddenly showed extraordinary adaptability. Where most species required thousands of generations to develop genetic modifications, human DNA seemed to communicate and reconfigure itself with remarkable speed. Jaewon noticed something strange in the molecular sequences. Genetic structures weren't just stable, they were actively responsive. Each environmental stimulus triggered potential genetic adaptations that defied conventional scientific understanding. Across the room, advanced quantum scanners began displaying complex genetic patterns. The DNA strands moved, shifted, and reorganized themselves in ways that seemed almost intelligent. It was as if human genetic code possessed an internal communication network far more advanced than any known biological system. The research team watched in silent amazement. Genetic markers that should have remained passive were actively preparing potential adaptations. Cold resistance, radiation tolerance, metabolic flexibility, all seemed programmed into human genetic potential. "This is impossible," muttered Dr. Park, the senior genetic researcher. But the data was clear and consistent. Human genetic structure wasn't just a blueprint, it was a living, adaptive system. Preliminary analysis suggested that humans could potentially modify their genetic infrastructure in generations, not millennia. Where other species required slow generational changes, human DNA appeared capable of rapid, targeted adaptations. The implications were staggering. Extreme environmental conditions that would devastate other species could potentially become comfortable habitats for humans. Space exploration, planetary colonization, survival in challenging conditions, all suddenly seemed within reach. Xylarian xenobiological research stations began receiving the first reports. Initial reactions were disbelief, then growing scientific curiosity. The human genetic system challenged everything they understood about biological evolution. Jaewon's team continued their research, each discovery more fascinating than the last. Human genetic potential seemed to have built-in mechanisms for rapid adaptation. Molecular structures could reconfigure themselves in response to environmental challenges with unprecedented speed. The genetic scanning systems continued displaying complex patterns. DNA sequences danced and shifted, showing potential adaptations for environments ranging from Arctic conditions to potential extraterrestrial landscapes. It was as if human genetic code was constantly preparing for unknown challenges. Back on the celestial horizon, Xylarian scientists began reviewing the incoming genetic data. What they saw challenged their most fundamental understanding of biological development. Humans were not just another developing species, they were a potential evolutionary wildcard. They're not limited by their current environment, one senior Xylarian researcher noted. Their genetic structure suggests they can become whatever they need to become. The research continued, each hour bringing new revelations. Human genetic potential seemed to have no clear limitations. Adaptive mechanisms that other species would require millions of years to develop were already encoded within human DNA. Jaewon looked at the genetic scans, understanding they were witnessing something unprecedented. Humanity's true potential was far more complex and dynamic than anyone had ever imagined. The laboratory hummed with quiet excitement. Outside, the world continued its normal routine, unaware that a fundamental understanding of human potential was being rewritten. Somewhere between the quantum scanners and genetic sequences, a remarkable story of human potential was unfolding. A story of adaptability, resilience, and an evolutionary capacity that defied conventional scientific understanding. The genetic revelation had begun. The Xylarian Confederation's Central Conference Hall fell silent when the first reports arrived. Holographic displays flickered with data that challenged everything they believed about technological development. Humans were doing the impossible. Advanced propulsion systems, once considered the pinnacle of Xylarian engineering, were being completely reimagined. Where Xylarian scientists spent decades perfecting a single technological concept, humans were creating multiple innovative solutions in months. Captain Kira Park stood before the Galactic Council, her presentation revealing humanity's unexpected capabilities. Star charts and technological schematics transformed before their eyes, showing how human engineers were reconstructing alien technologies with breathtaking creativity. Communication networks that took centuries to develop were being simplified and enhanced. Quantum computational models collapsed complex systems into elegant, adaptable frameworks. The humans weren't just learning, they were fundamentally reimagining technological possibilities. In a secure research facility on Earth, David Kim and his team worked tirelessly. Each alien transmission became an opportunity, each technological barrier a challenge to be overcome. They weren't just studying advanced technologies, they were transforming them. The Xylarian monitoring system struggled to comprehend what was happening. Human technological adaptation defied every known scientific principle. Where other species followed strict technological pathways, humans saw potential where others saw limitations. Propulsion systems became more efficient. Communication protocols became more flexible. Computational models became more adaptive. Everything the Xylarian civilization considered absolute was being questioned by this unexpected species. They're rewriting the rules of technological development, one senior Xylarian researcher muttered, watching the data streams. The human approach to technology was like watching an artist reconstruct a complex machine. Unexpected, creative, revolutionary. Quantum computing systems that took Xylarian engineers generations to develop were being comprehended and enhanced in months. Each alien technological concept became a new playground for human innovation. The galactic community watched with a mixture of fascination and growing concern. Humanity was proving to be an unpredictable force, a technological wildcard that challenged established understanding. Alien research stations began receiving transmission logs that seemed impossible. Technological modifications that should have taken centuries were being developed in weeks. The humans were doing more than learning. They were transforming entire technological paradigms. David Kim understood something fundamental about human potential. Technology wasn't just about understanding existing systems. It was about reimagining what was possible. Each alien transmission became an invitation to explore, to challenge, to create. The celestial horizon continued its observation, its advanced systems now struggling to categorize the rapid human technological evolution. What they saw defied their most sophisticated predictive models. Xylarian engineering principles developed over thousands of years were being reconstructed with surprising efficiency. Communication networks became more dynamic. Propulsion systems became more adaptable. Computational models became more intelligent. In research centers around the world, human teams worked with an intensity that felt like a collective mission. They weren't just studying alien technology, they were engaging in a complex global conversation with an unknown civilization. The galactic disruption was just beginning. Humanity was showing the universe that technological potential wasn't about existing knowledge. It was about creative imagination. Each alien concept became an opportunity, each technological barrier a challenge to be overcome. Captain Kira Park's final report to the Xylarian Confederation was simple and profound. Humans are not a technological developing species. They are a technological revolution. The universe watched, silent and waiting, and humanity continued to surprise everyone. The grand conference hall of the Xylarian Confederation buzzed with an unusual tension. Representatives from thousands of galactic civilizations sat in carefully arranged seats, their attention focused on a single holographic projection. Captain Kira Park stood at the center, her presentation about to challenge everything they understood about evolutionary development. Humans are not what we believed, she began, her voice calm and precise. Holographic images began displaying complex genetic and technological data that defied conventional understanding. The projection showed humanity's remarkable journey, Where other species required millennia to develop basic technological capabilities, humans had transformed their entire civilization in mere centuries. Genetic adaptations that should have taken millions of years were happening in generations. Genetic researchers from multiple planetary systems leaned forward. The human genetic structure was unlike anything they had ever encountered. DNA that could actively adapt, modify, and respond to environmental challenges with unprecedented speed. Technological innovations appeared on the screens. Propulsion systems reimagined, communication networks transformed, computational models that collapsed complex systems into elegant, adaptive frameworks. The humans were doing more than learning. They were fundamentally reimagining possibility. They are not a young species, Kira continued. They are an evolutionary wildcard that challenges everything we understand about biological and technological development. The conference hall remained silent. Each representative understood the profound implications of her statement. Humanity was not just another developing civilization. They were a potential game-changer in galactic evolution. Genetic adaptability combined with technological creativity created a unique evolutionary profile. Humans could modify their biological infrastructure faster than any known species. They could transform technological systems with breathtaking speed and imagination. Dr. David Kim, representing Earth's research community, stood beside Kira. His presentation complemented hers, showing how human potential went beyond traditional scientific understanding. Quantum computational models demonstrated human adaptive capabilities. Where other species saw limitations, humans saw opportunities. Each technological barrier became an invitation to explore, to challenge, to create. The Xylarian monitoring systems had been tracking human development for years. What began as a routine planetary survey had transformed into something extraordinary. Humanity was proving to be an unpredictable, dynamic force in galactic evolution. Genetic researchers noted something unprecedented. Human DNA possessed internal communication networks that allowed rapid, targeted adaptations. Environmental challenges that would devastate other species could become comfortable habitats for humans. They are preparing, one senior researcher whispered. Preparing for challenges we cannot yet imagine. The holographic displays continued showing remarkable data, genetic potential, technological innovation, adaptive capabilities. Humanity was demonstrating an evolutionary approach that defied conventional scientific understanding. Space exploration suddenly seemed within reach. Planetary colonization became a realistic possibility. The limitations that restricted other species appeared meaningless to humans. Kira's final statement echoed through the conference hall. Humanity's true potential cannot be measured in years or technological achievements. It can only be understood as an ongoing dynamic process of evolution. The galactic representatives understood something profound was happening. Humanity was not just another species to be categorized and filed. They were a potential transformative force in galactic development. Outside the conference hall, the universe continued its silent expansion. Stars burned, galaxies turned, and somewhere in the vast cosmic landscape, humanity continued its remarkable journey of adaptation and innovation. The evolutionary paradigm had changed.